You might need to accept recording.
Okay.
It still says that on it. So starting with, we are going to look at this BOLT score, the body oxygen level test.
It is smart.
What it is, oh, look, someone in the background.
Yeah, doing the washing up.
Oh, good work. Heather will do anything to get out of
I've been rowing.
He's
that.
been
Yeah.
rowing. He's been rowing. He's home. He's
Yeah, very good. Okay, so the body oxygen level test. So it is not a breath hold test. It is an assessment of essentially our body's tolerance to carbon dioxide. And so we'll go through the sort of protocol in a moment, but a lot of people think that breathing and breath rate and stuff is linked more to our sensitivity to oxygen in the blood. It's actually carbon dioxide that it drives our sort of ventilatory rate, because there's chemoreceptors in the brainstem and in the carotid arteries that sense when we have a certain level of carbon dioxide, and they say, "Oh, it's time to breathe in again." Now, if they're hypersensitive, then what it can lead to is over breathing, where we sort of like, and particularly mouth breathing, chronic over breathing and mouth breathing, can lead to sort of like hyperventilation. It can lead to chronic vasoconstriction of the blood cells, poor oxygen delivery. It's a bit counterintuitive. You'd think that getting more breathing in would lead to more oxygen delivery, but it actually doesn't, because the hemoglobin holds on to the oxygen as it carries it around the body and doesn't release it as efficiently. And we get into this cycle of, it can also lead to, so upper chest breathing, where you're using the shoulders and the neck, lead to anxiety, lead to stress, upregulation of sympathetic nervous system, all sorts of issues associated with sort of dysfunctional breathing. One of the books that changed my whole outlook on and insight into breathing was a book called Breath by James Nestor. And there is this fascinating the study they do on themselves, where they switch between nasal breathing only and mouth breathing only for a couple of weeks, and the impact and the influence on their blood pressure, heart rate, stress markers. It's incredible. So I encourage anyone to go and read Breath by James Nestor, because it's a real game changer. Anyway, the body oxygen level test is really quite simple. You need to find somewhere to sit, so nice and quietly, nice and calm, sitting upright. And the way it works is we just go normal breathing in and out through the nose. And then I'll cue you in, and then you need to have a stopwatch with you. I'm not going to get you to share your results, either on your phone or, I can count for you, but it's better if, because you might all stop at different times. And so once you take a breath out through your nose, not a forced exhalation, but just a normal exhalation, you breathe out. You then hold your nose or hold your breath, and you watch the stopwatch. And it's the first sort of feeling or drive to breathe in again. That first, you might feel the diaphragm contract a little, or the throat starts to sort of quiver. I don't want you to hold it past that point. You need to stop at that point. So that's the point where you stop and you check your score. And that is basically your tolerance to carbon dioxide in the body. And then, I'll post in the school chat the scores, so you can have a look at what the scores mean yourself. But essentially, the longer you're able to hold your breath before feeling that oxygen drive, or that drive to breathe in again, the better your tolerance to carbon dioxide, and then that has implications for other parts of cardiovascular health and so on. I think what I might do is because it's such a big topic and there's so much in there, I might actually do a separate topic and like a proper deep dive on this stuff with everyone in a Q&A in August probably. Okay, so let's just do it. Just sit quietly and just start breathing in and out through your nose. So yeah. And just get your stopwatch ready. A couple more breaths. And on the next exhale, start your stopwatch at the end of the breath and just hold. Now, I'm not going to do it with you, but I want you, as soon as you start to feel like you need to breathe in again, you get that urge, that's when you look at the clock and stop. And I'll just run the clock to 40 seconds, because if anyone gets over 40 seconds, then they're like an elite athlete. Okay, stop it there. Now, most, an average, like a pretty good score would be anything over sort of 20, 25 seconds. And if it's sort of less than that, 10 to 20, room for improvement. Less than 10, alarm bells. And the good thing is, this is always something you can improve through cardiovascular exercise, through, a good little practice is sometimes if you're going for a walk, try and just breathe through your nose. There is a big, mouth breathing versus nose breathing. There's plenty of information on it, but mouth breathing, particularly when we sleep, like causes sleep apnea, but decays the teeth, bad for the jaw, changes the shape of your mouth. And also with nostril breathing, we humidify the air. So we warm the air, we filter the air, we slow our breathing down. And the critical thing, so that's all great for, anti-inflammation and immune function, preventing getting sick and stuff. If we're breathing in our mouth all the time, we get that cold air straight in, unfiltered. But one of the biggest benefits of nasal breathing is the release of nitric oxide. So when we breathe through our nose, nitric oxide molecules come into the lungs, into the blood. They help with vasodilation, and so making the blood vessels more malleable, so less risk of atherosclerosis. Better oxygen delivery, better delivery to the brain. So many other benefits, nitric oxide. So that's one of the big ones for nasal breathing. And in colder climates, we got longer noses because we need to filter more air. We need to warm it up. Where in warmer climates, they got flatter noses because the air's already warm, so they don't need to cool it down as much. All right, let's do some of our mobility work. So with your scores, you can just keep them in mind, and then I'll put something in the chat. But you can also look it up. You can look up Bolt score. Mine is this, this many seconds. What does it mean? How can I address it? But as I said, we'll go into a topic deep dive with that at another point. Now, we're going to do some standing mobility work today. I'm going to get myself, how far back do I need to go? Pretty far. If I'm there, you can still hear me. Okay, so we're going to do, it's one we've not controlled articular rotations, but another one that we've done in class, quite often. The first movement is with my neck. I'm going to work my neck flexors. So I'm going to tuck my chin in and get the neck flexors working. And then once I get them working, it's like making a double chin, which you never want to do for a photo. Everyone sticks their chin out, but we get a double chin and then turn the head as far as we can. And then come back to the middle, create a double chin, so tuck the chin in and turn. So we're lengthening out through those neck extensors, tightening up around the neck flexors, which are usually chronically pretty weak because we get this forward head position quite often. So tuck and turn, tuck and turn, tuck and turn, tuck and turn. Now I hope as you do this, all of you are breathing through your nose only after just going through some of that stuff. Okay, this time a little bit of an angle to it. So I tuck my chin and I'm going to go nose to shoulder. Come back, tuck the chin, nose to shoulder. Oops. Kids screaming downstairs. Okay, so to the shoulders. Rather than controlled articular rotation where we go slow, we're actually going to move a little faster. So beware of your surroundings. You're not going to hit a kitchen bench or a cat or anything. Let's swing the arm up and around, big circle. Just getting a bit of movement through that shoulder. It's still under control, not completely wild, but going through full range. And we'll go forwards. Okay, change side. And forwards. All right, swing it both up and across. We get a little rotation through the chest as you do this. And then with this one, I go palm up, swing it across the body. So we're really stretching through the back of the shoulder there as we go across the body, palm up so we externally rotate the shoulder. And swing it across the body. All right, then this one, I enjoy this one in front, one behind. You're sort of swinging them up towards your shoulders. Reminds me of these little drums. You can get a little drum on a stick and it's got these two balls attached to it. You twist it, ding, 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 and it just taps the drum, bling, ding, ding, like that. Let's go. Arms out across the chest. And we go forwards and backwards. Okay, before working down, doing a similar thing through the hips, there's an exercise we do. So I want you to stand, yeah, I'll show you just sort of from side on. Stand a little wider than hip width, hands down by your side. You're gonna roll your shoulder blades into one another. Just drive the hips forward a little bit. Look up, take a breath, and come back. And from the front, roll the shoulders back, drive the hips forward a little, get that arch in the back.
Oh,
Oh, gee, someone went too far. Let's go back, stretch out. Roll the shoulders back, hips forward a little, stretch. And one more. Now, with the leg swings, you might need to hold on. Also requires a bit of coordination. So it's kind of like dancing. You'll take one leg out to the side, arms the other way, and we counterbalance by swinging across the midline. Now, if you need to hold on to something, do so. Just get a little movement in that hip, side to side. And then we go forwards and backwards. Just swinging the leg. All right, try the other side. Now, and across. And forwards and backwards. Okay, now with this one, I don't know if you'll be able to see, if you can see my feet. You roll onto the outside of the feet, so roll the ankles onto the outside of the feet. So we're sort of using the muscles around the foot and ankle to hold that position, and then we just load them. Just take a few steps forwards, a few steps backwards. So just getting sort of mobility and strength and stability down through the ankles. Okay, and then into the inside. So you lift the outside of the feet, and toes are up. Big toe down on the insides. Okay, and then on the heels. So walking with your toes up. And then let's go right up on the ball of our feet. It's like tippy-toeing around. Okay, so we are going to come down onto, I just want to do a couple of other stretches and show you a couple of other stretches. So, a little bit of sort of hip mobility work. Now, from a half kneeling position, this position here, if you can, If not, you can sort of, if you have to sit on a stool and just put your leg down in this position, we get this hip flexor stretch here. Now, when we do this exercise here, quite often, in order to get a bit of release through here, you might see people do this. Once I go past this angle here, I'm really just loading the lower back there. That's just stretching the lower back. What I want to do from this position is I contract the glute. So when I contract the glute, it sort of tucks the pelvis under. It's called reciprocal inhibition. If one side's contracting, one side's got to release. They can't work at the same time. So we contract. We just feel a little bit of a release down through the front of the hip here. You can take that same side arm up to the ceiling and just lean over a little bit. You get that stretch all the way up through that fascial chain. Hold for a moment and then come back and relax. Contract, palm up to the ceiling, little rotation, breathe. And one more, contract, up. Now, whilst you're in this position, we may as well take advantage of it. If you walk this foot out to the side a little and turn it out at a bit of an angle, and I bring that back shin around so they feel like they're sort of perpendicular, I'm then going to lean into this hip a little. So I come forward and out. Now, sort of external rotation here, sorry, internal rotation here, external rotation here. The further out I take my foot, the more I work it through the hip. The closer I bring it, the more I get through the ankle. So I'm going to get a little bit more work through the ankle here because this is my right arthritic ankle that is always stiff. Try and keep that chest up, long spine. In and out through the nose if you can. Okay, let's come down. We'll just do that same thing on the other side, and then we'll come back and do our mindfulness work. So, foot in front, contracting the glute, release, feel that little release in front of the hip, up to the ceiling, big deep breaths. Contract, up. One more time, contract and up. And down. And then same thing, walk this one out to the side. It's on a bit of an angle now. I bring that back shin around so it feels like it's perpendicular. And then we're going to go out and in. And let's slow it down to coming in, take a breath. Okay, one more. Okay, nice work. We'll work up to this one. There's a stretch called the world's greatest, well, I don't know who named it the world's greatest stretch, but someone did. You're in this position here, and they come down, and you do this. And so you get like thoracic rotation, hip extension, hip flexion. Good one, but we'll work up to that. I won't subject you to that today. All right. So for our mindfulness work, any sort of breath work is really, it's a good opportunity to do mindfulness work. So we won't do a body scan or anything today, but so get yourself comfortable, whether you're sitting down or lying down, up to you. I'm just going to cue you through. We're just going to do a couple of sort of breathing techniques. So we'll do a bit of box breathing, but there is also a technique called the 4-7-8 breathing technique, which is inhale for 4, hold your breath for 7, and then exhale for 8. It's quite tough to do, particularly if your bolt score is a bit low, because it's forcing you in that breath hold. There's a slight, ventilatory drive with the increased carbon dioxide, but when we increase that carbon dioxide, it vasodilates the blood vessels, so it makes them, dilate wider, which is good. And stimulates the vagus nerve, which is what regulates our parasympathetic nervous system, the one which is the slow rest and digest, but it's quite challenging. So we'll do a bit of box breathing first. So just get yourself comfortable, and we'll just do 4-second in, 4-second hold, 4-second out, 4-second hold. See if you can do it through your nose only to slow it down. If you need to exhale through the mouth, exhale through like a pursed lip, like you're sipping through a straw. Little small hole. So let's just go, and I'll just count you through. So let's go inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Slow exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Let's go in, hold, exhale, hold. And again, in, hold, exhale, hold. In, hold, out, hold. A few more rounds. In, hold, out, hold. And in, hold, exhale, hold. Okay, nice work. So box breathing, you can always come back and practice that whenever you just need to slow things down, whenever you can remember or you got a moment just to sit down and focus on breathing. Box breathing is always a good exercise. Let's try the 4, 7, 8. So I'll just count you through. So it's an inhale for 4. So make sure you get a good big inhale through the nose. When we do that, we don't want to see this lifting the chest. We should feel the diaphragm working, and we're sort of feeling the sort of rib cage expand a bit rather than up around here. So big breath in through the nose, then we're going to hold for 7 seconds, and then it is a slow 8-second exhale. Okay, so just take a couple of normal breaths. And then let's go in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slow exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's try one more round. In, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then back to normal breathing. Just relax. Now that 4, 7, 8 can be quite challenging, quite tough. I find it even tough depending on what's going on. It can be affected by stress, lack of sleep, exercise, time of day, all sorts of things will affect your breathing rate and your ability to breathe slowly. But that's a good little practice. So now, just for the last couple of minutes, just on whatever technique you want to use, even if it's just in for 5, out for 5, or I'd always try and lengthen out the exhale a little bit, just because we get that parasympathetic nervous system. But just a couple of minutes of really slow breathing. Try and go nose only, and just see if you can slow it down. It helps to count the breath, just so it keeps your mind on the process of breathing, being that mindfulness practice part where we're not sort of letting thoughts trail us off. If those thoughts come into the brain, you think, oh, I've got to do this, that's all right, recognize it, mark it, let it go, come back to your counting, back to your breathing. Okay, so let's just spend a couple of minutes just slow breathing in and out through the nose. And just start counting that breath. Really working on trying to get our breathing rate down to sort of 5 or 6 breaths a minute. Normally it's up around 12 to 20 breaths a minute. If you're an overbreather or hyperventilator, then it's even more. So as you're working through that, just slow breathing, just recognizing with each breath, the oxygen's coming in, coming down, flooding the body with nice, beautiful, fresh oxygen. As we exhale, getting rid of waste products or, whatever visualization you want to use. But just keep focusing on the breath. Any other thoughts or things pop into your mind, just recognize them. Like a train driving past, just picks up that thought, takes it with it. A few more deep breaths. Alrighty. That is all for today, everybody. Not to say that it's now time to stop breathing. Make sure you keep breathing throughout the day and the rest of your life. But thanks for coming along. As I said, we'll go
Thanks, Ben.
through.
Thanks,
We'll go through that
everyone.
in more detail. We'll go through. I'll set aside a live session where we can really dive deep into the science of some of that breathing stuff because it's fascinating.
Okay.
Ever since reading that book, I try and tape my mouth when I sleep. It's not a recommendation. See your GP before you do it. If you've got sleep apnea or something, I wouldn't do it. But for me, I always found that I'd wake up and my mouth was dry, my teeth felt horrible, my face, my eyes felt sunk in. I was like, ah. It's been life changing, life changing. I've now got this clear nasal passage, and I sleep more deeply. And if I can remember the tape, then it's good. I tried doing it to one of the kids. He thought I was trying to kill him, so I'll find another strategy. But he's like, because one of them is he's got like I had my tonsils out when I was a kid. For that same reason, I was always getting sick. My nose was always blocked. I was always breathing through my mouth. I've got a really high palate. My teeth are squashed in because of it. But we didn't know this stuff, and so I can see he's going the same way because he snores. He can barely breathe through his nose. We've got to go see an ENT. But if we don't address it soon, he'll end up with worse symptoms later on. So worth noting. Anyway, we'll come back and do a bulk test again some other time. So enjoy your Sundays.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.